Hey girls, Maria Menounos here, author of the Every Girl's Guide to Life. Want to know my best tips and secrets for organization, travel, weight loss, beauty, fashion, and everything else in between? Go to bing.com/Maria and pick up my new book, The Every Girl's Guide to Life.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, King Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Sister Wives. Tonight's host is Michelle Macedo. Joining Michelle will be AFTERBUZZ co-hosts Nathan Hertz and Melissa's twin sister, Michelle Macedo. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Sister Wives news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, Melissa Macedo.
It's true. I am the twin of myself.
Yeah. Hey guys, what's up? It's Melissa Macedo here. I am the host, and joining me are my co-hosts Nathan Hertz and the co-twin, Michelle Macedo.
Rich has been drinking the past few
intros. Got it.
Making for us.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
been a long night. It's been a long night. So first I want to start off by saying Maria's new book, buy it. It is amazing, awesome.
The Every Girl's Guide to Life.
Every Girl's Guide to Life. Trust me, it helps in everything. Organization, makeup, weight loss, really, really, really awesome stuff. How to be healthy, basically how to be a little more perfect so you can be successful. Highly recommend it. It recommends how to do things on a budget. I know some of us are doing that.
And let me just say, I snuck a quick look in a private moment, and I actually found
it can be for boys too.
I found it very helpful.
Yeah,
A lot of the stuff.
a
Good
lot
advice
of
for
really
men.
smart tips.
It's actually amazing. I mean, Maria Menounos, who is a close friend, is amazing. Anyway, she's so successful. So
Yeah, she's great, and she's got it
Of course it
together.
would work.
And if you guys want to know all of her secrets, pick up her book. It's awesome. Also, on top of that, AfterBuzz, you can find us on iTunes Podcast, Stitcher. All the cool kids are doing it. Of course, the website, AfterBuzzTV.com. And if you want to listen live for live stream and video, you can go to ustream.tv/AfterBuzzTV, and you can find us all there. So now you know. And please feel free to call in. Tell us what you think about polygamy or anything else.
the number is 424-256.
1729.
Good. That's good. You should do the intros.
Okay, so this episode was interesting. Wife number 3 hits Sin City. Cody and Christine make their way off in their little vacation, of course, with their kids. And there quite a few things come up. Quite a few emotional things come up that haven't in the past few episodes. For example, the pumpkin carving episode. It was a little more eventful than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Sin City, and nothing like polygamy in the Sin City to really
Exactly.
spice
Yeah,
up.
what? Mormons go to Las Vegas?
Well, apparently, Cody tells me there's a big Christian population in Vegas, and we can say Las Vegas, or we can say half hour outside of Las Vegas in a very tame-looking resort where clearly there's no bad behavior happening. So
At Lake
it's
Las
sort of
Vegas.
like the G version of Vegas. is
so
what it
why
seems
would
like.
they even go to Vegas?
They need it. Well, Christine and Cody agree that they both needed some time away, separate time. You know, a few episodes. Cody went on vacation with wife number 2,
Janelle.
and
He certainly takes a lot of time taking vacations.
yeah. Well, I think he needs to reconnect with Christine.
Right.
And Christine actually opened up for the first time this season
Yeah.
about how abandoned and insecure and hurt she felt when Cody was courting new wife, Robin.
Robin, right.
And yeah, I mean that
was really
makes
surprising
sense.
because I feel like almost on the first time ever on this show, Christine was just open about how she felt, and especially how she felt about Robin at first. And you know, she went through all the different stages. You know, at first she was incredibly jealous, and then she just couldn't believe that she wasn't good enough for Cody or Tony the Tiger
or Tony, whatever we want to call him.
To
Girl.
like she couldn't satisfy.
Great wives.
They're all great.
But I mean, basically, another big issue is that Christine felt like, why do you need another wife? Like, she felt, what, I'm not enough?
I'm
finally,
sure.
we realized this episode, they are in fact not robots. They are human.
Really?
Human.
Interesting.
I'm still not
people.
totally convinced. But
I know.
think
Maybe next episode you'll
maybe.
be.
But I'm just confused. You know, they go to Lake Las Vegas, and it's like if you're going to go to Vegas and drive 5 hours because they can't afford to fly, they have to drive, why go to the lake? You know, because
Lake
there are a
Vegas.
lot of lakes that are nicer than the ones in Nevada.
Yeah,
and
you know, yeah. Also,
Why?
it was snowing in Utah, so they wanted to go somewhere where it wasn't snowing. But, you know, like, I think this is what they can do.
Yeah, it's budget Las Vegas. They're high rollers.
Yeah, they went to Madame Tussauds, step on the brakes, a little crazy day for them.
It was a little wild. I got a little scared on their behalf.
Yeah. They were creeped out that in Madame Tussauds in Vegas you could marry George Clooney. They provide wedding dresses.
Why
and George
did that
Clooney
freak them out?
is in a text.
Because
Don't.
marriage is between
Because
a man and a woman and
it's
a woman and a woman
monogamous
and a woman and a woman.
relationship. They were freaked out at the monogamy.
Yeah, they're like, what? George Clooney gets to marry only...
They're
how many
like,
Why isn't there a
are-
fake woman next to him?
How many wedding dresses do they supply at a time?
Yeah, but so that was an eventful day for them. And basically,
Who are their
a
kids
few
again?
things
How many
happened.
kids do they have?
I mean, I couldn't tell you that number.
It's in
but
the
there were a
script.
lot of them. They were jumping around. They went on a
God.
boat. It was fun for them. You know, and to the general public, when they were out, they looked like a
A normal family.
a normal family.
Little do they know.
Little do they know. But also a few things were addressed in this episode. When Cody and Christine were in Vegas, Cody found out that Mary basically didn't get the job that she wanted because of her polygamy. And she was really upset. It actually really sucked because it's not like she's working for some big corporation. She's helping at-risk youth. You know?
Right.
And she got laid off from her job the first time right after they went to New York and came out on the Today Show.
That's right. She was totally bummed about it, and she was like, I just want to work with these kids, and I'm just not getting a chance to because of my personal life. And she even called them out and said, you know, should one's personal life really affect, you know, what you decide to do? in
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
career?
technically that's illegal.
Like, that's discrimination. But they didn't say that. But I was kind of surprised because I was like, you know what? Even though I don't agree with polygamy necessarily, I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I wouldn't choose to live that lifestyle. I still was angry for her because that is still like discriminating her based on her private life.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing for if someone's gay, you know, or you could say the same thing for, I mean, basically that's what I find myself comparing polygamy to the most because right now, in this time and age, the gay rights movement is going on. So I'm thinking, like, I don't, just in terms of the Mormon church and stuff, things seem to be a little backwards.
Yeah, that's certainly what I think of too. It's because I guess in our lifetime, that's the population who are really fighting for their rights now. And they're not the only ones, but
Yeah.
but in the sort of
There are many oppressed
spotlight of the
individuals.
United States. So
Yeah. So back to Vegas.
back to Vegas, yeah.
So
So the whole trip culminates in a dinner extraordinaire.
yeah, it was
between-
a dinner just with Christine and Cody. They probably just shoved their kids off into the Lake Las Vegas. Who knows? But, you know, they had some alone time just with them.
And you know what I wonder? It's like, do they forget how to be alone together? You know, what's
I'm
their
sure
relationship
they're like, what's
alone?
going on? Actually,
So
I
uncomfortable.
think Mary was the one who said, I don't know what it would be like to have a husband around all the time. I think it would be weird.
Actually, Robin said that, but yeah.
Robin maybe said that.
But yeah, it's like as if their own personal relationship with Cody is sort of every year it seems to get smaller and smaller and smaller until it's a couple days in Las Vegas every 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
I doubt they know each other, I mean, as well as a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, well, he has 2 of the wives down for individual trips.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 2
Robin
more to
clearly
go.
doesn't deserve it because she's the new wife. She doesn't really deserve anything.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, she's the new spoke on the wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Of the bicycle of epic failure. I don't know.
Of
Right.
Mormonism.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, some things came out. I mean, Christine even mentioned that when Robin came into the marriage, it was like a period of mourning for her. You know?
Yeah.
You're mourning a marriage that isn't over. I mean,
That you have to live with for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's like if someone, basically it sounds like all the trust is broken and they're aligned to themselves. So we did the Borges earlier today. We watched a show and actually it was really, really similar how many mistresses they have and concubines they have, like the men have.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And literally I was like, oh, it's Sister Wives.
well, actually, a few interesting fun facts.
Melissa and I, let me just preface this by saying, Melissa
Yes.
Certainly
Melissa
is.
is a highly trained
researcher.
a graduate of Columbia University in New York City, and we brainstormed about fun facts about polygamy, and these are some of the things.
Well,
More like
Polygamy.
Melissa's brain was working.
polygamy.
At least I have one, Michelle.
Polygamy actually began. It was quite normal in India. It's actually a civil law in India. But before you judge, also in all Judeo-Christian religions, it has been cited. It is in the Bible, and way back in the day, like I'm talking about way back before the 90s, guys, before the 80s.
That
What?
existed?
Yeah, it was a time.
The world wasn't around
In
until I was
life.
here.
Anyway, basically, and what we found out is even to this day, but way back in the day, it was considered a way for people to have a community, to have spur population growth. You know, it was also okay because it helped the widows in the community.
Right. in
It
fact,
was legal. It was
So
legal.
the widows would marry.
Well, actually, the widows would marry the brother
Yeah.
of
it's
their late
required
husband.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Judea law for a brother's wife's wife who now becomes a widow. It's required for the other brother to
No,
marry,
okay, so
legally
if a
marry
couple's
that woman.
married and he dies, then his brother is liable. It has to marry.
Yeah. And if that means he already has a wife, you know, he brings her along in the mix, adds her in the mix. That being said, Judaism has renounced this as something that can happen today. You know, speaking this was in biblical times. Things were different then than they are now.
And I think the view of marriage was much more about money and support than love.
It was
and-
much more economic and
Survival.
social.
Yeah, right.
And, well, basically what we also found, which is very interesting, there's something called polyandry, and that is when women marry multiple husbands. And that happens a lot in India, and it actually happens today a lot in Tibet, China, and northern India, because it limits population growth, and it's used as a way to help the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens in areas that have really difficult, like agriculture. You know, it's difficult to raise things, and you in areas where you cannot have a big population.
Right, but there's also a few real instances where in really wealthy, like, princes and stuff, prince brothers
Right,
marrying one
elite,
woman.
elite, yeah.
And that's like another version of polyandry.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting because that is common in India, as
Still today.
in certain parts of India today. But it has always been there. Polygamy is actually Vishnu.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Little
Vishnu,
known fact.
1,108 wives. Exactly.
I think the number was a little different, but it was very precise. Some in the 1,000 something.
No, it was 1,108.
Wives or
exactly.
women that he's slept with ever?
Well,
Wives.
he called them wives. And,
Are we talking about Vishnu the god?
Yes.
Okay.
Part God. Yes.
Part God.
Right.
Part role model for Cody.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Part Cody's hero.
But that being said, like that's way back in the day. You know, I'm sure things were a little different then. Things were run a little different. But I mean, it has a really, really big historical basis.
Yeah.
And in the most ancient religions. So in the Muslim faith, it happens. In the Hindu faith, it happens. In ancient Judaism, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
In ancient Christianity, it happens. And
it's always been an issue. It's always been around. And now
what was that story about someone who like was very, you know?
Oh, okay. Some dude, I forget all the names, you know, but some dude in the Christian faith, some historical figure, granted this guy who had a bunch of mistresses and sort of lived a lecherous lifestyle. He said, okay, just marry them all.
This is a historical figure in the Mormon church, correct?
In the Mormon church, yeah. Something like... Oh, you went to Columbia.
His name
I went to Guildhall.
His name is Luther.
Luther, yeah.
But
It was Martin Luther.
It was Martin Luther, but it's not the same Martin Luther.
Yeah, certainly not Martin Luther King Jr.
But it's also
but
certainly
Martin
not
Luther from the Catholic
Right.
Church.
from
Certainly not that Martin.
from Lutheran.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Right.
He started an entire religion.
So by the end of the show, you'll be thinking that Martin Luther King Jr. was a polygamist and best friends with Cody.
And
they
someone's
all
going to edit that
hung out
part
with
that
Vishnu.
you said. Yeah.
Yeah, so there it is.
So there was this lecherous dude, and he said, okay, look, you live this horrible lifestyle. Just marry them all, and you're fine with God.
What?
It's all good.
You guys, in the Borgias, it is exactly that. It is about this family, this man that that's in the papacy that becomes the Pope, basically out of bribery and awful things. And he has a ton of mistresses. Actually, in the last episode, this prince came, and the daughter asked, "What's the difference between your wives and your concubines?" And he said, well, when you beat your concubines, you can beat them however you want. And when you beat your wives, they need to do something really bad for you to kill them. But you try not to kill your wives.
A struggle I face every single day.
Right.
That's
wow,
nice.
But so, I mean, you know.
That's so thoughtful of him.
Women now have come a long way. But basically, I think that the roots are in that, that bothers me.
What do you feel?
Yeah.
What do you think Cody's views on, you know, beating your wives is? What do you think outside of the TV show where everything has to be perfect and the life is great? Do you think that there's a chance that he physically abuses?
Domestic violence?
Yeah, he physically abuses any of his wives.
I don't think so.
Neither do I.
No, me neither.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because it's sort of, I mean,
If there's domestic violence, I don't think they would allow a camera crew in their
I
house.
think he might spank his kids or hit his kids.
Okay, I mean, we never know. Bottom line, you can never tell what goes on like in a household when no one else is watching. You never know. It could be the person you least suspect. That being said, as someone who works as a rape crisis counselor and someone who has been trained in watching for signs, he doesn't show any signs. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't.
But he does think the universe revolves around him. But that's about it. So he's the sun for Halloween. The wives are everything else.
Yeah.
But he's the sun.
Pretty normal.
Yeah. So that's really interesting about the history.
Yeah, I felt like we had some other fun facts.
We had some other fun facts, but
There was a lot. There's a lot. It's very, historically based. Obviously, in the Bible, in Deuteronomy. I remember reading that.
there are also cases of not only men having multiple wives, but those wives having multiple husbands. And there's no specific term for that other than a group marriage. That's what it's referred to as a group.
Is that
Right.
not polygamy?
It is.
It's
polygamy, but
it's both polygamy and polyandry,
and therefore it's group marriage.
Also,
which is a good old time.
in Senegal, what was that fact?
Oh, Senegal,
57%.
40. Yeah,
It was 40.
I think it was
47%. Yeah, you're right. It was 47.
of marriage are polygamous marriages
Senegal?
in Senegal.
Wait.
Sorry, where's Senegal?
In Africa. Oh, look at a map. In Africa.
Well, I'm just asking for the listeners who maybe don't know.
In fact, a lot of different African countries, it's legally accepted. Polygamy is a legally accepted practice. A lot of African countries.
I don't have that fact.
No. I mean, it's a fact. I mean, I read it on Wikipedia.
When he went to Africa
as I
to figure out polygamy.
As I took polls all around Africa for years.
But I also think polyandry is fairly common.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not common, but
it happens.
Wait. Explain the definition of polyandry again.
It's when women marry multiple husbands.
Oh, awesome. I'm totally down for that.
Well, here's the thing. Hey, Mormons, I'm cool, like, if you do it both ways.
Yeah.
Polyandry and polygamy. It's just a little, it just feels a little exploitative if you're just given one.
Is there a law against that?
Against polyandry?
In Mormon?
There are so few reported cases of it, and it really...
Is it in...
it's really not part of the Mormon... Malorman thing.
The Malorman. Well, I also think a big idea in Mormonism is, to create more Mormons. Their religion is very evangelical in the sense that, it's proselytizing.
Mm-hmm.
And being polyandrous would mean like a population limit.
Restricting, yeah.
Yeah. So I think like polygamy helps out the community in that way.
I was thinking about this when they were at their dinner, Cody and Christine.
Their romantic dinner.
You think Cody's always sort of looking around being like, who can I make my next wife? Like he sees the waitress and he's like,
great.
So, yeah, where do you come from? Like at the dinner table. You think he's...
Well, he must be, because
I don't know
isn't
how
he
he got
overwhelmed?
the next three. I mean...
Wait, okay. Okay. I have a question. When he was at dinner, when they were at their romantic dinner, what did they talk about?
Well, it looked like she was like... They were
it looked like they were talking about business. It looked like they were like, this has been hard and this has been hard. These are my problems.
Well,
these are the issues.
I mean, to be quiet, it looked like they were having a boring conversation.
Yeah.
She was like, my mind's in so many places at once. And he was like, mm-hmm.
How can you connect with the person, like, after...
Funny picture of them when they first got married.
Oh, my
His
God.
hair was, like, normal length, but they looked like the creepiest people.
Was it...
They were, like, smiling.
Was it her
and they were like,
and
I'm so
the other
white.
wives?
No, just her and him.
It's like they look like the
Ew.
couple.
It was
It's like they look like the
hilarious.
couple when you're like on a road trip to Canada or something, and you stop in some weird gas station in the middle of nowhere, and there's like a couple in the 7-Eleven.
Ew.
You know, that's what they
Ew.
look like. Like, whoa.
I mean, yeah, it could have been straight out of like like don't be gay camp, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, we're happy,
It's like a cult.
we're married
It was freaky.
to different genders,
Yeah,
and we love that.
we love it.
It was weird. It was
That's
creepy
really
picture.
gross. I could totally see that, though.
Yeah,
That was back in the Cody the Conqueror.
It's the same.
years.
They're just wearing different masks.
Yep.
And now Cody's wearing a mask of
Women.
women and sunburn.
Yeah.
Cocktail.
What is up with that?
I don't know.
Sunscreen, dude.
Yeah. Well, Robin talked a little bit about how her kids like were weird to get in the family at first. You know, they felt weird about it, but then they loved it, and now they love being part of this family.
They actually said that, and they were interviewed.
Nope. Negative. It feels like the children don't have much of a voice in this angle.
No,
of the
most
show.
of their children.
But
They shouldn't have a voice.
You know what I really don't like is how the wives are just even like the wives are never interviewed alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess sometimes.
Well, remember when the children were interviewed alone for the Halloween episode, was it?
Yeah.
Whichever episodes that are least eventful, the kids are interviewed. When there's no drama, that's when they're interviewed.
Yeah, the kids play a really strange role in this TV show because you don't know how many there are. You don't know who they are.
They're just running, bouncing
They're
around.
sort of like nondescript white flash. You're just like, damn.
Of all
there
ages.
goes another sunburnt little white kid.
Yeah.
And
it's so weird.
They don't have, like you said, they don't have a voice. The show doesn't even, I think there's so many that the show is just like, there's no way that the viewing audience will be able to remember their names or care about them all.
Imagine them at school and someone's like, oh, yeah, can I go over to your house? They're like, and then their parents are like, don't ever go to their house.
Could you imagine being that one poor little kid like invited over to the house and like going over and being like, why are there so many people?
Oh,
like,
wow.
what? At the dinner table?
Mommy, there were 20 of us.
Oh, my God.
That'd be horrible.
Oh, wow. Middle school nightmares.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine being more awkward with 19 brothers?
No.
Or just trying to rebel like in your teen years against like four mothers. Like,
But the
could
thing
you imagine?
But no one would know because you're just one of the teenagers trying to rebel.
They'd just be like, oh, there he goes again, rebelling.
They're like, just let him do it.
Yeah, they don't even care.
It's just...
That's why I feel like I would be so destructive if I grew up in... I was thinking, if I was one of those kids, I would like grow up to be an alcoholic, gunslinging.
There's no way each kid could have enough attention.
Yeah, they're probably all like freaking out at school. You know?
I mean, basically, this is the argument for, really, really out there. But for like orphanages, there's like a few, nuns or caretakers and a lot of kids. And everyone says in orphanages, how can each kid get the attention that it needs?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I had two brothers, and I was like constantly on the lookout for opportunities to gain attention.
Well, we know that, though.
Yeah.
You're still on the lookout.
Well, being a twin is totally cool. You totally get all the attention.
You totally get all the attention that
because the other one's freaking running around.
Going to Columbia. But whatever, it's not a big deal as a twin.
It's not hard. It's not a difficult
that must suck.
situation.
That must suck to be a twin.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Two older brothers, too. So.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
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 But hey, look on the bright side. At least we don't have 17 siblings or however many there are.
So true.
I don't know if you guys, there was this British TV series called House of Cards where it's like the struggle to the top in the British Parliament. And I feel like that's what my childhood would be like. I'd be like struggling to eliminate the other siblings whilst gaining better standing.
So like American Idol.
That's really terrifying that you'd be that way to your siblings.
Whatever it takes to get attention. I mean, in my house, attention was gold. And that's all. Oh, God.
I think for every kid, attention is gold. So they're all going to be really messed up. Like, imagine their relationships. It's just, okay, they can do it, whatever. But imagine how it's so not conducive to the outside world.
Well, they're probably going to grow up thinking that they're not good enough, so they'll get into polygamous relationships.
Yeah.
Because they're like, I am only part of a human being.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say about that?
But Cody just sprouted out into polygamy.
Well, he's a full human being, though.
No, he's more than that.
What
He's
do
a
you mean?
universal being.
Right.
Whereas the women are just
He's Vishnu.
parts of him.
A quarter
Yeah.
of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they all make up one wife.
If they were a whole person, why would they need to be in a marriage with like three other
Also,
women?
what I thought was weird was when Christine was talking about how hurt she was, Cody was right next to her, didn't say anything.
With the other wives too?
No. It was just her and Cody.
Yeah, Cody was there and he was like, yeah, that must be hard.
He was like, that sucked for you.
It was great for me because I was getting a new girl.
But it was weird. It's like, what do you think about that, Cody? What do you think about like hurting her and pushing her into mourning, as she put it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it's like the mourning that I feel like mourning is a good word for like divorce. But the thing is, it's like you go through that and then you still have to stay married.
It sounded like she was talking about a divorce, but like it's not, you know?
Right.
I wonder if what happens if they want to get divorced.
I also saw something.
Interesting.
I saw something interesting that pertained to this sort of on The View. Actually, this like really well-known TV producer and movie producer, maybe, like was married to this woman. He's old now, and she's old. They're like in their maybe 70s, 60s, 70s. She like walked in on him cheating on her with this like other woman. And she knew that he had been like messing around with different people. And then she was like, they had to talk about it. And they were like, well, we don't want to get a divorce. And the woman was like, I don't want to get a divorce. And then she was like, you could just...
Did they have kids?
I don't know. They didn't address that. And she was like, well, you can see whoever you want to see. Fine. But you have to give me $1 million every time you cheat.
Wow.
And she gets $1 million. And he has a mistress. She gets $1 million.
Blood money.
God.
So I don't think this is happening with
Oh my God.
Cody.
But
I'm like, maybe.
because if she
that
tried,
might be okay.
still she's like, after $37 million, it still doesn't feel,
it
it still doesn't make up for the pain.
Yeah.
Apparently she's like, yeah, we're just really good friends now. And, you know, I wouldn't want to. And the mistress, they had her on. And she was like, yeah, I wouldn't, you know, they have their own like friendship and relationship. And I wouldn't want to ruin that. And then the wife was like, yeah, you know, like we've just been friends forever now. Like I knew he was messing around forever. And like, so he could just do that. I just didn't want to go through a divorce.
That's so sad. Did she start a relationship with someone else?
I don't think so.
Ugh,
God.
disgusting.
That's terrible. I mean, Cody certainly couldn't pay $1 million. He'd give them like a box of Frosted Flakes or something.
Yeah.
Not even. He probably
great.
charged them for it.
Tony the Tiger here.
Like, I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
I need great Frosted Flakes for all my 200 children.
All right.
That's a good impression. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we go to commercial now.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call at 347-855-8269.
This television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Get in on the AfterBuzz.
347-855-8269.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
Listen on iTunes.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from?
Find us on Facebook.
Your husband or your best friend?
Follow us on Twitter.
But then she's trying to kill him, so it justifies it. I'm like, oh, now it makes sense.
And visit us at AfterBuzzTV.com.
The wig will come off. That wig come off, baby.
Oh, what?
Boardwalk Empire.
Desperate Housewives.
Glee.
Gossip Girl.
Breaking Bad.
Mad Men.
True Blood.
The Walking Dead.
Big Love.
Jersey Shore.
The Oscars.
Celebrity Rehab.
The Emmys. If it's hot, you can bet we'll be buzzing about it.
Okay, guys. So we sort of already went through our special segment
About the origin
which
of
is
polygamy.
historical facts. We'll be back next week with more fun facts.
And also, I'm going to look up Vegas polygamous hotels. Who knows?
Who
Polygamous
knows?
clubs?
Polygamous bars.
We don't know.
Oh, Mormons can't do that. Okay. Anyway, we are going to move on to predictions. Yes.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So,
Okay, guys, I think that the next vacation, well, now it's been Janelle and Christine, right?
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
I think maybe the next vacation he's going to take with Robin, just throw her in the mix.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to get jealous.
I think they're going to get mad because they're like, what? You just married her a year ago.
there must be drama that's happened with the kids.
You can't talk to her. It's only been a year.
Do you think Mary's going to get another job?
I hope so.
I think that's actually going to be the subject of next episode. Major financial struggle.
Yeah,
I don't see how the money's
agree.
coming in this
I
house.
agree.
The output is always the same. You got a million little mouths to feed. And yeah. How are they going to make
There it
yeah,
is.
How are they gonna,
Well, they probably, I just see them being like servants for him.
Right.
Bringing him his food.
So money, financial troubles, fighting between the wives. I think there might be some conflict with Robin.
Let them eat Cody.
And that is our show. Thank you for listening.
Thanks
and
for
tune in
listening.
next week for Sister Wives. Don't forget to pick up Maria's book. And find us on iTunes, Stitcher, our website, ustream.tv/AfterBuzzTV. And good night.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, shit. Just have an
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.